Hi, this is just Jeannie. I'm going to show you how to make chicken stock. So we're going to start with chicken parts. I just showed you how to truss a chicken and how to cut up a chicken. So these are all the parts of the chicken from when I cut it up. So the back of the chicken, okay, this, the neck of the chicken, the gizzards and the livers, not the lizards, but the livers. So what you want to do is you want to start with a pot of boiling water. And I just pick any pot you like, okay? Water, I really don't measure. I say what I have here in the cup in this pot is probably like 6 cups of water. Because you know when you start boiling things, what's going to happen? It's going to evaporate. So you're probably going to end up adding more water to your stock as the stock starts to develop. So the first thing you want to do, take your chicken parts and just drop them into the water. Stop. So all the chicken parts into the water. Even the bones are great. Next thing I do, I add salt. So let's talk about stock. You can have, I call the light stock versus the dark stock. I like my stocks pretty dark, meaning I will simmer all the chicken parts, put in my vegetables and seasoning, and actually let this thing just simmer overnight, believe it or not, until the next morning. The next morning, I'll open up the lid, add a little bit more water, and the stock becomes even more concentrated as I simmer over the next few hours of the day. So my stock becomes very dark and rich. Sometimes people like lighter color stocks, or light stock as I call it. Like when you go to the grocery store and you buy pre-made stock, when you pour it into your cup or your dish, it's very light color. It's not heavy. It doesn't have a heavy concentration of all the flavors. So what I do, because I like mine dark, we'll do something in between. I add my seasonings. I usually do salt, and I do about 3 to 4 pinchfuls. Okay, so actually my pinches come out to be about a tablespoon and a half of salt. Then I'll add bay leaves to my stock. Okay. I take a whole onion, throw it in there. I take about 3 to 4 sticks of celery, drop it in there, and 2 whole carrots. Okay. And after that, all I do is put a top on this and just let it boil. And initially I'll let it boil for about 30 minutes. Then I'll drop it down to where it's just simmering. And I'll let it simmer for about 8 hours, believe it or not. But you have to check your stock periodically because sometimes you have to add water. Once you see the water level drop too far and it comes too dark, just add like a cup or two of water to bring the water level up a little bit. Because you want the water to be high enough or last long enough over the 8 hours that you're going to simmer the stock. Okay. So once my stock is simmered down, which usually after 6 to 8 hours for me, I will then add more water to it, like 2 cups, bring it back to a boil, let it stop it from that point. I'll shut it down, uncover it, and then what I will do is just skim off every vegetable part, every piece of chicken bone, and just discard it. I let the stock cool, then I'll place it in the refrigerator. And the reason why I do that, remember, chicken has fat in it. So you're going to have a lot of greasy or fatty stuff floating in your stock. And so what I would do, put it in the refrigerator. And if you look at this stock that just came out of the refrigerator, you see that all the kind of the grease that's floating at the top. So I'll just take all the grease off. Okay. And it just makes it easier to remove the grease. You don't have to like strain it again, so to speak, the stock. And then I'll take a portion of the stock that I need to use for a meal, heat it up, and look how beautiful, look how rich my stock is. And I usually make enough stock that will last me for months. So I would freeze them in either like pint containers or quart containers, label them, and they're in my freezer. And when I need them, I just go pick them up and say, hey, today we're going to have soup. Or I want to make grits. I actually make grits with chicken stock. And I think everybody should have stock in their kitchen because it is definitely a basic item from every kitchen.